Well, it is American Heart Month, all about raising awareness about the importance of your heart health. And today we're talking cholesterol, the impact it has on our own heart health. Joining me this morning is Dr. Ben Ravai with the Delray Medical Center. So, Doctor, thanks so much for being with us. We talk about cholesterol being important for your health. Why are those numbers we need to watch?
Right. So, cholesterol is this fat-like, waxy substance in the body, and we always think of the bad effects of cholesterol. It actually is important for the body. It does help maintain our cells. It does help our body to produce certain hormones and certain vitamins. But the problem with it is that excess cholesterol can also lead to, plaque buildup in our arteries and can increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes and, other problems. So it's something that's really important for us to keep track of.
I always think it's interesting when it comes to cholesterol. You can't look at someone could be as fit as possible and they could still have high cholesterol.
Correct. So it's one of the misconceptions is that I think we think of, people who are only overweight or obese or older people to have high cholesterol, but even, young, healthy people or seemingly healthy people can have high cholesterol. There are genetic factors and other factors that go into it. So it's something really important for everyone to keep track of and to monitor. Even if you, are in shape and of healthy weight, it's still something that could be a problem.
Absolutely. Okay, so when we talk heart health and Heart Month about knowing your numbers. We talk about blood pressure numbers.
Right.
And there are good cholesterol numbers and there are bad cholesterol numbers. So break that down. What do we need to ask our doctor about?
So when you get a blood test to check your cholesterol, you'll see a breakdown of a few different things. So you'll see LDL, which is a low-density lipoprotein that's often considered the bad cholesterol. And you'll see HDL, which is a high-density lipoprotein, which is oftentimes considered the good cholesterol.
Okay.
So the LDL, or the bad cholesterol, is the cholesterol that's more likely to deposit into the arteries and to cause plaque formation and to increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Whereas the HDL, which is the quote-unquote good cholesterol, is more likely to go back to the liver where the body can get rid of that cholesterol. So those are two big numbers that you'll want to keep track of because a total cholesterol gives you a number, but it doesn't give you the breakdown. And so looking at that breakdown is important.
Okay, so say you go to the doctor, you find out, oh my gosh, I have high cholesterol. What are changes we make right now?
Right. So I always tell people it's a combination of lifestyle and potentially medication. So, diet, exercise are very important. And, looking at what foods you're eating can make a big difference. Increasing your activity level for people who are smoking, stopping smoking. For people who are drinking too much, to cut back on that. So those are very important lifestyle factors that can really make a big difference. And then for some people, that's enough. And for other people, we have to talk about medications or potentially certain supplements that can be helpful as well.
And really quickly, we did talk about one myth about cholesterol is that a seemingly fit, healthy person could easily have bad cholesterol. Any other myths you want to clear up when it comes to cholesterol?
So that's one of the big things I think of is that young people oftentimes think this is a problem for older people, and it's really important even in your teens or 20s to make sure that your cholesterol is checked once in a while. And then I think medication-wise, a lot of people have really big concerns that medications have a lot of side effects, and obviously that's something that we have to look into and consider, but there are a lot of different medications out there for cholesterol, and so even if somebody doesn't tolerate one class of medications, there's oftentimes other medications that can really be helpful for them.
All right, really good information. I think one of the big things too when we're talking heart health and Heart Health Month is knowing our numbers, but also knowing our family history. And like you said, it can be hereditary, so something to look at.
Definitely.
Good information, hopefully a good reminder to everyone out there, to all of us. So thank you so much. If you'd like to know more about your cholesterol or what you need to watch out for, you can go to our website, WPBF.com.